Let me ask you something. How many times did you forgive when you should have walked away? How many times did you stay when you should have left? How many times did you stay quiet when cutting someone off completely was the reasonable thing to do? You've been doing it your whole life, being patient, being available, being the one who holds everything together while slowly falling apart. And what has it gotten you? The world does not reward goodness without strength. It rewards people who understand the game. And until you accept that, you will keep being broken by people who figured out long before you did. In The Prince, Machiavelli wrote that it is better to be feared than love if you cannot be both. Most people hear that and think cruelty. That's not what it means. It means you cannot build your life on the need to be loved by everyone, because that need will be used against you every single time. Today, we are talking about what it means to actually become someone this world cannot break. And it starts with something most people never want to admit. The first thing you have to accept is that most people are not in your corner. That's not bitterness, that's just reality. The people around you, they are dealing with their own hunger, with their own fears, with their own survival. And when it comes down to a choice between looking out for you and looking out for themselves, they will choose themselves without guilt, without apology. You've already seen it. The person who disappeared when things got hard. The friend who smiled at your face and worked against you quietly. The relationship where you gave everything and called it love. You went back, you explained yourself, you hope something will change. But the truth is, you were the only part of that equation you ever actually controlled. Nothing was going to change until you did. Machiavelli put it more bluntly in The Prince. Men, in his view, are ungrateful and fickle. He wasn't being bitter, he was being accurate. He was warning you not to build your foundation on people's loyalty. People will always be loyal to you as long as it serves them. The first step to being ruthless is not becoming cold. It's about being honest. It's about being honest about who people are, not who you wish they were. And once you see people clearly, the next discipline is learning what you actually owe them, which is far less than you think. You have to stop explaining yourself. Every time you explain yourself to someone who has already made up their mind about you, you lose. You are handing them information. You are exposing what matters to you, which means you are telling them exactly where to apply pressure when they want to control you. Powerful people don't justify, they decide and they move. Think about the people who command the most respect in any room. They don't rush to defend themselves when someone misunderstands them. They let their misunderstanding sit there. And somehow, that silence makes everyone uncomfortable. Not them, because they've already decided who they are and they are not waiting for a vote. Your silence is not weakness, it's a strategy. It is a wall that people cannot climb because there's nothing to grab onto. You don't owe anyone a breakdown of your choices. You don't owe anyone an explanation of your distance. When you feel the urge to over-explain, pause. Ask yourself one question. Am I doing this for clarity or because I'm afraid of being misunderstood? Most of the time, you'll find out that it's fear. And fear is exactly where your power leaks out. Not explaining yourself is one discipline. Letting go of the outcome is the next one. And it's harder. This is where most people get it wrong. They think becoming ruthless means becoming someone who doesn't feel anything. That's not it. Ruthlessness is not the absence of emotion. You can feel everything and still make decisions that protect you. Detachment means you stop letting your need for a specific outcome run your life. You stop chasing people who are walking away. You stop waiting for closure that was never coming. You stop tying your peace to the things that are outside of your control. The moment you detach from the outcome, you reclaim your power. Because now, nobody can threaten you with something you no longer desperately need. There's an old Machiavelli line for this. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. That's the gap between the person who stays 5 years too long in something that's already over and the person who reaches the ending early and leaves with their dignity intact. One of them decided to go, the other stayed until the decision got made for them. Mastering yourself starts here, learning to walk away from what drains you, without making noise, without long speeches, without a dramatic exit. You simply stop. You go quiet, and in that quiet, you communicate something that words never could. That is no cruelty. That is the highest form of self-respect. Detachment protects your peace from the people already gone. Boundaries protect it from the people still in the room. You were taught that saying no is selfish. That is a lie. Usually taught to you by the people who benefited most from you never saying it. Every time you said yes when you meant no, you trained the people around you to expect more. Every time you tolerated what crossed your limits just to keep the peace, you made yourself smaller. You shrank to make others feel comfortable. And they never noticed. They never appreciated it. They just expected the next yes. The people who command real respect understand something simple. Boundaries are not walls to shout people out. They are standards that decide who gets access to you. And not everyone is in that. When you enforce a boundary calmly and without guilt, something shifts in the room. People sense that you know your value, and that is more powerful than any argument you could have made. The standard you accept becomes the standard people hold you to. Raise it. Watch who stays. Watch who refills themselves by leaving. A boundary decides who gets access to you. This is about what they get once they're in the room. Not your words this time, but your reactions. In a world where everyone is talking, the person who says least holds the most power. When you feel every silence, you lose. When you react to every provocation, you lose. When you need to win every argument, you lose. The powerful speak when it matters. They are quiet when it doesn't. And that combination makes them impossible to read. People fear what they cannot predict. When you become calm and unreadable, you take back control without saying a single word. Silence is not absence. It is presence that is amplified. The next time someone tries to pulse a reaction out of you, say nothing. Watch what happens. Their discomfort grows. Their behavior reveals itself, and you walk away knowing exactly who you are dealing with without giving anything away. That is real power, and it costs you nothing. Put all of this together, the honesty, the silence, the detachment, the boundaries, and you arrive at the same place every time. The version of you that absorbed every blow and called it strength. The version of you that stayed too long, that gave too much, that asked for too little. That version got you here, but it cannot get you where you need to go. To become someone this world cannot break, you have to let that version go. Not with anger, not with bitterness, but with the quiet certainty that you have outgrown the patterns that were holding you in place. Stop being available to everyone. Stop needing everyone's approval. You stop measuring your worth by how much people appreciate your sacrifice. You move differently now. You speak less, you decide more. You walk into rooms carrying a kind of calm that people feel before they fully understand it. And you remember what Machiavelli wrote in The Prince, that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Not feared through cruelty, feared through the awareness that crossing you has a cost, that you are no longer available for exploitation, that your peace is not up for negotiation. Become the person whose presence is earned. Stop breaking yourself to hold together things that were never meant to last. The world will test you, it always does, but you are no longer the version that collapses under that weight. You are the version that decides what you carry, who gets access to you, and what your peace is worth. And that is worth everything.